Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lucas and I'm here today bringing to you guys a fresh new build series. This time we're going to be doing a smaller quad. I got my hands on a Doinker kit from 65 Drones. If you want to go ahead and check out those guys, 65 Drones. They make the Doinker Kit, and the Doinker Kit seems to be a pretty interesting little piece of hardware, man. So I just got this Doinker Kit in the mail today, and I've been very excited to post this video because I want to do the same sort of build series as I did for the WP17. So we'll cover the parts today, and then in the following videos we'll do a build and as well as the maiden, and we'll cover some tuning on the Doinker as well, and I'll give you guys my general impressions of how the build process went and how the tuning went, just as I did for the WP17. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, always make sure that you can reach me at fpvchat.com or via the comments on YouTube, and I always try to get back to you guys, and I always try to listen to the feedback. So let's go over the parts for the Doinker. I'm just going to reposition the camera here so you guys can see a little bit better. Alright guys, so the Doinker kit from 65 Drones came pretty much with everything you need to get this thing flying except for a receiver. I actually asked for no receiver because I fly the Radiolink 89, and as you guys know, it's not compatible with FreeSky and all that other stuff, so I just did my own thing. So the kit came with basically, first of all, the frame, which has been 3D printed and actually has a pretty nice finish. It looks like some sort of like acetone vapor or something like that was used to give it a nice shiny finish, which looks pretty good. There are a few imperfections on the tiny little holes there, but that's really easy to clean up with a hobby knife, so I don't predict that this will be a lot of a problem. It feels pretty tough, yet it's pretty damn light. Like, this weighs not much at all. I'll do a weigh-in after the build so we can see how much the Doinker really weighs with the parts that I have got here. But I'm pretty impressed with the quality of the frame itself. If you have your own 3D printer, that's great. You can also 3D print your own Doinker frame in case you do break it. And this one is going to be flown mostly indoors, so I hope that it will last a while because I don't actually have a 3D printer, but I do plan on getting one sometime soon. So powering this whole thing here, or at least the brains of the Doinker operation, is actually the Pico BLX from the guys at Furious FPV. It's a nice little 20 by 20 board. It has pretty much everything you need to build a quad. It doubles as a PDB as well as the flight controller. So there is no other boards that you need. You can build it just off of this guy. You connect your ESCs and your signal wires to this guy and then connect to the motors, and you're pretty much good to go. It's also compatible with S-Bus, which is good for us because we're going to be using the Radiolink and an S-Bus configuration. Supposedly it's anywhere from 2 to 6S capable. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what I saw on the website earlier, and I was a little bit surprised myself. But overall, it looks like a pretty good quality flight controller. I've heard very, very good things about it. And the other thing about the Pico BLX is if you decide to go with the Furious FPV VTX and OSD combo, it actually matches perfectly with this 20 by 20 board, and it uses some of these pins over here, so it's actually pretty neat. This board is actually also capable of powering LEDs as well as changing their colors and all that other sort of stuff, which we'll be doing in this build as well. So that pretty much covers the flight controller. If you want some more information on it, you can definitely go check out Furious FPV and check out the Pico BLX, and it'll give you all the details you need to know. Oh, it also came with this IR, I believe it's an IR emitter, I think. Not really sure. I'm going to check out on that later. So it looks like an IR emitter. It might be an IR receiver. I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure it has something to do with lap timing, something like that, but I'll cover that on the build when we get to it. I'm just going over the parts. I pretty much just got it and just opened it up, and we're going through it together. So from the flight controller, we go over to the drivetrain, and in this case, the first thing we have are the 20 amp Cicada BL Heli S ESCs. These seem like they're probably a little bit of overkill for this quad, but this is what they had on the kit. I'm gonna run with it. I'm not gonna bother. Having 20 amps is gonna be fine. I know I'm not gonna burn the ESCs on this, guys, and I've come to trust Cicada BL Heli S. I know I can run multi-shot on this pretty easily, and I can get the tuning down pretty well using this setup. I'm very, very familiar with it. So moving on from the ESCs, we've got ourselves our tiny, tiny, tiny DYS motors. These guys are super, super cute, man. These are 1104 7500 kV, and they just look amazing. It's just like a full-size quad motor being shrunk down into like this tiny, tiny little package. So I'm pretty interested to see how these are going to sound and how they're going to fly, and I'm actually really, really glad to have a brushless quad to fly indoors, because the brush stuff is cool, but just doesn't have that crisp response that you're looking for on the throttle. So to allow me to talk to all this wonderful gear that I just showed you guys, we have the Radiolink R6DSM, which is a new receiver by Radiolink. It is a tiny, tiny receiver. It's the smallest one that they make. It is S-Bus, and it has a micro UFL for the antenna, which means that a repair should be pretty easy. So I'm going to be running these receivers on my micro builds from now on, and we'll see how they perform. Maybe I'll do a little review on this later and let you guys know. I'm probably going to end up removing all of this and soldering the wires directly, but we'll cover that on the build as well. I'm not going to bother with it right now. So we can see out of our craft, we've got the Iachin, which one is this? The FX798T. So a pretty common little AIO camera you find on most tiny whoop builds. Everything you need, VTX and camera in one little package. I've used this before on a micro build and they work perfectly well. 25 milliwatt, which is all that you need for flying indoors, as long as you're not flying behind a lot of obstacles or anything like that. But these cameras are good to go, and that eliminates the need of setting up a whole VTX or anything like that. It just plonks right on top. It has this nice little TPU printed base that came as part of the kit as well, and it should just slot right in there, and yeah, I'll mess around with it later, but it should just slot right in there, and we should be able to mount this on the Doinker pretty damn easily. So now that we covered the electronics, oh yeah, one more thing. This didn't come with the kit, but I'm going to be adding it to the Doinker anyway. This is just a Furious FPV RGB LED that allows you to change the colors and all that through the flight controller. So I figured that would be pretty cool on this little white Doinker, and I might mount it beneath it or right behind it or something like that, just so that it has like something cool and different. I don't know. We'll play around with it. The kit also came with these, I think they're 1935 or 1945 propellers. They're just short of 2 inches. Furious FPV now carries these directly on their website. You can buy them without having to buy bigger props and then clip them down using nail clippers. So that's kind of nice. You can just order them in packages of 4. And I have a few that are probably coming soon. So I'm not too worried though, since these are going to be ducted anyway. The likelihood of breaking them is a little less. So we'll see how that goes. The kit also came with a bunch of little 3D printed parts, like supports for mounting the camera and protection for your antenna that is provided by these 2 little weird little horn things that would probably mount just behind the camera like that, and protect your camera from any crashes. So we'll see how that goes on the build. I'm sure I'm not doing this exactly right here. But yeah, that's basically it in terms of parts for the Doinker. There's really not much to this kit. I think it's going to go together really, really, really quickly because we don't have to worry about a PDB and a bunch of other wires. It's all going to be part of the Pico BLX, so it should be a pretty straightforward build. I looked through the guide on 65Drones website. It seems pretty easy. Anybody can build one of these drones if you've built a drone before. So we're just going to be doing the build together on the next episode, and you guys will get to follow along, and then we'll do the maiden and the tuning and all that other stuff further down the line. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions or concerns or comments, just drop me a line and I'll be happy to answer you. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time, and make sure to subscribe.